What's going on, guys? You got Kwasi here for Kwasi Animation Studio and Kwasi Media Network. You are presently at the Animation Studio channel, and I want to talk about the layout. Okay, so in Blender, you have a default layout. This is definitely not it. It comes with way more, tabs at the top. The outline is different. The settings on the side are different. And most of the time, and the majority of the time, and all of the time, there's a cube, a light, and a camera. Well, mine is different, and I want to talk about setting your things up for the sake of filming something or creating a story or whatever. Most people say animation, but let's be real about it. You're really making a film or whatever, even if it's a short version, or if it's just a short video clip for like 14 seconds, 15 seconds. It's not a short film. No matter how much people want to say it, it's not a short film. Short film, let's just anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes up to at least 45 minutes. So anything shorter, a minute or shorter, is like a micro short, but it's not a short film. I get people say, yes, it is. I'm like, no, you can really tell a story in 30 seconds. Come on. So the thing here is showing you how to build to set yourself up where you have the tabs specific to what you need to do. Okay. So I always say, if you're going to do a set, do it in its own thing. If you're going to do characters, do it in its own blend file. The same thing is that set. Okay. And then you put those things together and then start to work on your lighting. Quote unquote, you would put your lighting in one scene, and then let's just say that you would save that as. So let's say in this scene, let's say there's a scene here, and I just would go save as, and then I would save that scene to itself. Okay. So here, what I want to show you is how I have my thing set out. But what we want to do is make sure that we go, like, when you're finished doing your setup, you will go save startup file, and then it will save it accordingly. Clearly here I have an editor at the action editor down here. And then I have the timeline that usually comes with it. And then I have my sample rate. This is an Eevee. So I have my sample rate here, which comes by default, but I turn the viewport denoising off. And then of course all your settings here. So I haven't really changed anything here other than I already have the shadows set and the volumetrics at 32 samples at 12, clamping at 12. On film, I have the overscan on, and my color management is to none instead of having a contrast. Of course, the collections here, I have cinematography, depths, lighting, and effects. So my effects will go in here, then there will be collections inside the effects collection. Excuse me, same thing with the lighting. There will be multiple collections in the lighting collection outside of the default lighting that's set up to the actual world scene. And then depths are really empties that I use for focal points for the cameras in cinematography. So if we click here, you see there's nothing in these other collections except for the cam, which is by default. And for my setting, I have it set to LF. So it's a ARRI Alexa LF cam. I do not know why that's so loud for me. It might not be that loud for you, but for me that is loud. All right. So what I've done is just left it like that, and then I just turn that collection off. So it's already set that way. Same thing up here. The shading tab is already set. The animation tab is already set. Don't know why that's doing that, but for some reason everything past 3.0 does that. All right. And then a playback tab. Now, the animation tab I have set up differently than everybody else's that I've seen. And of course, here, graph editor, action editor, NOLA, and then the sequencer for lines or audio sound effects or whatnot, for the sake of pacing and tempo. Okay, so if we go back to the layout, this is the only place that I do any of this. Like if I'm changing something, I don't do it in the animation tab, only because I need the space. You see how wide the space is, okay? If I'm adding another object or whatnot, unless it's just something I can do real quick, I'll do it wherever I'm at. And of course, the playback tab is only for looking at playback without doing it in the layout. And it's just bigger and nothing's turned on. Like everything is turned off clearly, right? Okay, then it also gives me the options to be able to see my output settings, even my format settings and whatnot. So we're going to look at the functionality of this. So I'm going to open up a set or a scene that I have, and I've done this with a character. This is on 3.3.2. You can do this in any of the other blend file. I'm just opening it up here because I was using the GLTF, and for some reason the GTLF files are not opening up in 3.4 for some reason. At least not for me. Okay, so let's say we're already in the playback tab here. So let's go into render mode. So here I have this set here. It's like this Asian style setting, And then I have a character that looks, it's a low poly character, um, a Sekiro style character, right? So if I hit play, the character has an animation on him or whatnot, but we're just seeing it from that camera. So now, of course, I have in my cinematography, I have 4 cameras. So let's go to this camera, go to that camera, we'll go to that camera. Okay. So each camera has a different length, I mean, distance, but then this last camera has a different focal length, right? So this is just allowing me to be able to look at it from different angles with multiple cameras, okay? Even if we go into the animation tab, I can see it up here. Again, this is weird, don't know why, but sometimes, let's say we just turn on the shading, and of course, let's say you were animating, then you have your interlay right here. You can do whatever actions you need to do, etc., okay? So in this case, for me, if I want to change something in the layout, I go to the layout and I change it. Even if I want to see everything in shaded mode there, so that you can go to shaded mode, let's just click the character, go to his empty, his depth. And let's just say I wanted to just do something in the shading tab to change something, right? Boom, I'm already set. All I have to do is go to whatever tab I'm going to, and everything is set up to go, right? And the reason why I do this is to make it simpler, easier, more cohesive, so to speak. So this way I'm not adding anything later on. Everything's right there I need. If I want to add another collection, I can do so. Like I said, if I want to add another lighting collection, I would just go new and then just go uh, secondary lights. So my main lights are going to be in lighting and then secondary lights. So let's say we have a secondary light, and that secondary light might be a light that I wanted to have, like say some sort of weird energy power or something. So put in a point light. Okay, I'm going to cut on the shadows, distance. So I'll make it 2 meters, and then just give it a power of like 1200. So I mean, that's cool. I'm going to take all the volume out, bring the specular down, and then I'm going to play with the diffuse because I want to be able to play with that. So let's say that power is green, right? All right, so again, we're in the layout, right? So we can play with that. So let's turn on the transform deal, turn off the animation so we can see our stuff, and then we'll move that. So let's just say, for instance, I want him to be holding this energy, right? So we're just gonna say this is for what that is. So I'm gonna bring this down to like 0.1, right? Okay. So we do that. Now again, I want to change that animation. So I've already clicked this rig, so I already know it's set. Come over here, F, which that's not set up in yours. You have to set that up, but you just add a track. You would add an actual track. I have it set to hotkey on the F, and then of course, click no action. I'm gonna go hold forward. I'm gonna go add auto key. Come to keying, location, rotation, and then I'm gonna grab this particular one. Right. I'm gonna turn it to local, and I'll do the same for the hand. Okay. Hit this because I want to add that to this animation. Okay. I'll even do the same thing here on this one because I want to add it. Right. Grab the hand, flip it, turn it. Boom, done. Okay. Okay. Do this. And then I'll grab that secondary light. I'll move it to the point. I'm gonna go above because I want to see it. And again, you can add an effect. So I'm gonna take that, do this, and then we're gonna go to effects, right? So now, of course, I just have this set. I don't have to do anything particular, but I'm gonna just use I use an icosphere. We'll bring it down to size, right? Okay, so I'll just on GP, I just call it a orb, right? Go into shading tab, go over to it. We know we're gonna call it orb. Still too big, but that's cool because we're just holding on to the power. All right, and then I'd say I'll do this color ramp, transparent. Again, see how the workflow is completely altered and changed because now I can come in and just make the alterations as I please. I'm gonna go hashed, no shadows, plug this into there. Noise, not white noise, noise. Boom, clap. It's like that. All right, turn this off, turn it up. 0, crank, and go 30. Need to start breaking it up a little bit. There we go. Again, we want this to be that green color, right? All right. We'll pull this down some so it can be similar to that. All right. So now we'll come back to the layout. We have what we need. If we go to playback, now we have that. But what I want to do is add a, I'm going to add this to 4D. And then I'm just going to go frame slash, let's say 360. And boom. So now we'll come back to playback. That orb moves. But now, however, I want those two things to move together. So what I'll do is I'll grab this. I'm going to call it orb underscore light. And because I want the icosphere and the orb to move together, I'm just going to go ahead and just create an object with that. So I'm going to call this the orb. And then I'll grab the light, hold shift, and then parent it. So now it's the light's parented to that orb. And then I'll take the orb and I'll give it a child of constraint because I don't want it to move. I don't want to put it in the collection with that because that's not going to make it do anything. So now we just boom and go hand. This will be the FK right inverse and then playback, and there we go. There you have it. See, so now another thing I'm thinking about doing on the orb is changing that to blend. Yeah, there we go. Why is it frozen? Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Because it's frozen for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like that's now not in the best position. Let's just come back over here. Since the light is parented to it, I can just move the orb. Boom. All right, so now we do the playback. And because I feel like the orb should do some sort of move, I say let's have it rotate. So what I'll do is I'll go into here. No, is it there? No, I won't. I'm tripping. The layout's fine. I'm tripping. So let's go over to, let me go, I'm trying to think about how I want to do this. Yeah. Frame slash negative 300. No, that's too slow. Say 30. Did I grab the orb? I did grab the orb, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's say it's gonna rotate there. Say 0. I'm gonna make this 3. No, 10. This will be, excuse me, / 30. Yeah. I feel like this one's wrong. Like it's messed up. Let me redo it. Frame / 10. Well, I feel like it's not rotating. It almost seems like it's not rotating. Let me clear that. Let me delete that driver. Oh man, I clicked the wrong thing. All right, so 30 frame / 30, and then let's see what we get. There we go. That's what I want. And then of course for the shader, because it's moving so slow, let's go ahead and create a timeline down here. Boom. Go back. 100. Not enough detail. 6. Say like that. There we go. All right. Go to playback. And now that animation is playing on top of there, right? So we come back to animation. We clearly see that those frames are just sitting there. So let's say I want that frame to do something particular. We grab that. I'll just select all of this, move it forward, and let's say at 150. Nah. 70, 180, and say 180 plus 23 frames. And we'll take this and move it out. All right. Grab these again. Hold it for a little bit. Uh-oh, wrong screen. All right. And as he goes to move back, 250 plus 23 will bring it back to this position, right? So what I'll do is select all of those, Control E, and done, right? And push that down, and it's set. So now that's set up, and we come back to play. I'd say I come over to 1, and then we have that action on top of that action, and you're set and ready to go. So now I'm able to do these things much more quickly versus trying to figure out how to get to each thing individually, figure out what I'm gonna do next, this, then, other, blah, blah, blah. So say even over here, over here, over here. So I can switch to any of these cameras at any given time and just come up with what I want to come up with. The versatility is there because everything's already preset. So this is a lot of things I'll be trying to tell people is set yourself up and don't add extra things that are not going to really help you, because you can do most of the things you need to do in one tab. But why not just set your tabs up for that? You say, well, what if I want to do a texture painting or whatever? Okay, well, put that in something. What if you had texture painting as part of this? Like you split the screen out in the middle, and on this side is the action editor with the screen for the textures here, right? And then here is where you in that space, and then on the other side is the texture paint. Or you just switch between it, because you can switch between that and texture paint. Like right here is Shift F3. Boom, Shift F3. I'm already in texture paint from here. You feel me? So you can go through these things and figure out what will be the best route, or the easiest or simplest route. And that's one of the things I just wanted to show. Like I've had questions where it's like, well, man, how you get organized and this and that. This, like I just sat down and decided, okay, what do I need in the screen, and what would be easier for me to look at a playback. So I found that this would make it easier to look at playback versus trying to, oh, I need another tab. Okay, so open up another tab and layout, try to fix this layout. Now I'm doing this in the midst of production, and it's slowing me down. This is get away from that completely and just say, okay, here it is. And that's exactly what I wanted to show you guys. So I'm not going to keep beating that up. None but love. Catch you later.